Man, you guys ever wonder what the fuck is even going on with this shit? That's what this is about. Today's episode of Mars Day with Mark is brought to you by Mirage. How are you doing, baby? She's asleep, she's slump. So I guess we're gonna have to do this solo. Hope you guys are doing well. Let me share my screen and show you the chart, Fire Family. Do you like the new background? How do you feel about it? Mirage likes the new background. She says, yay, background. Yay. Yay, Fire Family. Yay. She says, Dad, why? Why do you make me do this? Why do you shell me out for clout, Dad? Why must you forsake me? So, welcome back to another video, Fire Family. It's good to see your beautiful face. I hope you're doing good today. I'm stopping the video. I'm restarting it. So hopefully I end up where it shows me on the screen. I'm on the bottom left on my side, so hopefully that's how it turns out. Today's a good day, guys. I hope you're enjoying yourself. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back, Fire Family. It's Mr. Meyer with the Fire, here to share ideas and take, take the collective vibration higher. Our sole intention, Fire Family, is to reconcile all paradox with love and truth, and I love you. Ooh, this is going to be a special video because this is your weekly astrology podcast, your favorite one on the internet, your favorite horoscope. And we're going to break down the astrology of the week, starting with August 6th and ending August 13th. And that's Tuesday to Tuesday, Mars Day with Mark. Oh, yeah, Mark the Shark. Let's get to it, guys. So I'm going to run you through the chart and I'm going to give you the basic highlights of the week. There's some action, some news I'm about to share with you. So feast your eyes, man. Make sure you're hungry. Go outside and feast and behold. You have the sun in Leo at 14 degrees today. We've got our waxing moon in Virgo, Mercury retrograde in Virgo, Venus in Virgo, certified Virgo stellium today, guys. Mars is in the sign of Gemini, Jupiter's in Gemini, Saturn's in Pisces. We've got Uranus in Taurus, Neptune in Pisces, and Pluto in Aquarius. And that's hilarious. The North Node is in the sign of Aries, South Node is in Libra, and our Lilith is in Libra. And 1 week from now, everything will be the same as far as the signs go. Not much change or action there. The moon, of course, will switch signs. A week from now, we'll have the moon in Sagittarius. So we'll be barely past the first quarter square on that note. But as far as everything else, guys, Mars moves up a couple degrees. Uh, Uranus, like the outer planets, they move barely some minutes this week. Oh my goodness, I just animated the chart. We're way off in September now. Let me back it up. Yeah, so this is where we are, and this is where we end off. Like Venus will move up about 8 degrees, Mercury moves back about three, the sun moves 7 degrees, like it does every week. So that sounds like there's not too much action, not too much going on, but there actually is plenty to get into, plenty to talk about. So my intention here is really to give you guys a good holistic picture of the solar system, help you relate to these planets and see yourself as a star, for real, for real. So I would just really encourage everybody listening to this video to get in touch with themselves, man. And that also is a reflection of the Leo archetype. The sun is bright. The sun is hot. If you stare at it long enough, man, you might go blind. But without the sun, your ass gonna die. So this is life itself, and we need this shit for survival. You know, even if you don't photosynthesize, man, without the sun, there would be no plants. And without plants, everybody would be asphyxiated or starving Marvin, and that's no bueno. So, with it being the middle of summertime or the middle of winter time, if you happen to be down under, I hope you're having a good time because Leo is all about the lion. And what are lions? They're like big ass kitty cats, man. And, they either roam the jungle or the desert. And, lions are like apex predators for the most part. You know, if you get a bunch of hyenas together, man, and a lion by itself, you might be in for a rough time as a lion. But generally speaking, the lion is the king or the queen, and that just means they're unbeatable. They're the top. And This is kind of how the archetype plays out for humans right now. The sun in Leo really asks us to see ourselves as special and significant and to be a little more selfish, self-reliant, self-indulgent, self-determining, self-willed, self-motivated, self-disciplined, and self-referential. Recognize that you create your fucking life, my friend. So create some dope ass shit. And don't assign that power of creativity, that responsibility to anybody else or the universe or God. Nah, fam, you are the pilot. You are the painter. You're in control. So creative control is key right now, gang. You hear me? And the sun is making some pretty cool aspects starting the week off, making a sextile to Jupiter and Mars. And we got this trine to the North Node. And what that really speaks to me about, especially with us having the new moon in the sign of Leo a couple days ago, last Sunday, there's this renewed sense of purpose and this brighter spark burning within all of us. So, Fire family, I hope you feel lit today. And if you don't feel lit, get lit. Have a good ass day and put a smile on your beautiful face. And if I'm the first one to tell you today that you're beautiful, I'm sorry to hear that, man, because you had however much time that you were awake to tell yourself that you're beautiful as fuck and that you matter and that you're special and sexy and significant and sweet and just a caring, kind, compassionate person. And let me be clear, guys, because there's a lot to say. This sun in Leo, we could really make our focus for the whole entire video, but just understand this archetype really asks us to pay attention to our intention. I'm going to say that shit again. Pay attention to our intentions. And intention means will, choice, our desire, our motive, the purpose. You know, the intent is the implied or desired outcome. All right. So do your best to be intentional with everything in your life and do everything on purpose. And this says to talk your shit, walk your shit, and own your actions, man. And be bold, be loud, be courageous, and have fun in your life. A life devoid of joy is a life devoid of meaning. So let your life be beautiful and exciting and happy. And that's also going to warrant us to really question, like, what is it that I want? What is it that I want to create? How do I want to see myself? And is my self concept, is my identity conducive to the goals and dreams and desires I have? And if it's not, you have the ability to change how you see yourself and speak more love and life and vibrancy and acceptance and assurance into yourself. So that's beautiful, guys. Leo rules the heart and the spine and the hair on some level too. So there's something to be said here about building strength. And my tarot readers know what's up. This is the strength card, the Leo energy. To get your ass in the gym, jabroni, or work out, or take a hit the block, man, and take a walk and do something that moves your energy around. Push yourself a little bit, put your heart into everything that you're doing, especially those workouts, man. There's something to be said about extrinsic rewards, but also intrinsic motivation. It's cool to see yourself shine and to get recognized and be successful and, you know, hit your personal record at the gym or whatever the case might be. But when I say intrinsic motivation, there's also a lot of pride and power to be derived from internal growth and developing and strengthening one's character. And it's been said before that wherever you go, there you are. So cultivating, developing, and focusing on yourself is always a high leverage activity, which yields dividends in every other part of your life, gang. So that's why I say and repeat, be fucking selfish on some level, because the more you pour into you, the more you have for everybody else. So that's really beautiful. If you make and really hold strong in those sacrifices, whatever you have to cut out of your life, whether it's free time or social events or, even connections with loved ones, man, by you pursuing your path and your destiny and your purpose, you will become a more evolved and specialized person. And then the ends will always justify the means. Okay. Bet on yourself, man. Double down. And I also want to say the universe has been sending me a message, and I'm here to present it to y'all. And just know that intention is so fucking powerful and often undervalued. And it's very reasonable to derive confidence or reassurance from our results. Who doesn't like to win? That's cool. But don't wait for the results to recognize the value of your intentions. Confidence is derived from results, but you could also derive tremendous amount of confidence just for the heart that you have and the want to do good or the want to be yourself, your best self. And failure is often a byproduct of, action and attempts to meet our goals. And we often will learn more from failure than we do from success, man. Rock bottom teaches you way more than the mountaintop ever could. So, not to be verbose, man, but just remember that by you wanting to do good, you having that spark, that power, that recognition of a vision, that in itself is worthy of celebration. Everything after that is bonus. Results do matter. That's not my case to say that they don't. But ultimately, intention is so damn powerful, guys. And, by having a good spirit, by having the want to live a positive life or be of service or just live a happy, fulfilled life, man, that is something very noble and honorable to take heed of. Okay. That's really what I'm seeing with this one, man. So, in other notes, let's talk about the moon and we can get into the other planets, fill this gap up. Okay. We just had the new moon in Leo, gang, on the last Sunday that we had. And new moons are new beginnings. And this is a great time to set out new goals and targets and really embark on a new journey. And with this being the Leo sign, guys, it's all about developing and strengthening our character or manifesting and creating our dream life and or both. It's really a bit of both, gang. So confidence is key wherever we go. And it's really important to have smart goals, which are specific and measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Smart. We can't hit a target we're not aiming at. And if you do by chance, good luck replicating that shit, man, because you weren't even trying at the first place. You got lucky. All right. So we can't improve what we're not measuring. So write that shit down, get in your journal, and I need you to write down 2 words, that down, write that down, that down. Okay. And whatever else you want to write after that, it's in your best interest to just let it flow freely from your consciousness. But, be more engaged in inspiration and imagination and visualization and potential as opposed to, using your journal or your mind to complain or describe your problems over and over again. It's cool to address problems and solve them, but, by expecting issues and things to be fucked up all the time, we can even recreate that pattern. So, what does it look like when you're living your dream life? Lifestyle by your design. That's the phrase. Paint that picture for yourself. And I really encourage you listening to this video to get in your journal and script this out and write a letter to yourself or a journal entry rather from the future and recognize that the present is the memory of the future. So, today I woke up in France and I ate a baguette under the fucking Eiffel Tower, or me and my lover woke up in Monaco or Bali and it was raining in the jungle and it was beautiful. And then we had coffee and we traded the US market in the fucking evening because we were overseas. Get specific about what it is that your dream is about and then write that down so you can create that yourself personally to the point where you start to feel that in your emotional body. And what you're doing right there, gang, is you're training your body and your mind to receive the life that you want to live. And that can actually lower the gap that you have to take to quantum leap, lower the bar. It's not to say that you lower your standards, but you just really you're setting the launch pad up, man. So get excited, guys. A lot is going on with Mercury this week. So I'm not telling y'all to do some shit that would not benefit you for real. I might sound like I'm jumping the gun or tangenting, but this is all the conversation of today and this week, okay? So let's talk about the moon a little bit moving forward throughout the week. We just had the new moon, like I said, on Sunday. So what that means is the moon is waning. Let me show you on the chart. When the moon and the sun conjoin, that's the new moon cycle. But because the moon moves so much faster in the chart, you'll see the moon kind of separate and start to move its way around the chart. And there we have the moon in Virgo, a little bit ahead of the sun in Leo. And that's cool. That's just going to show you that we're waxing. So if you watch the moon over the course of the week, gang, it's going to get bigger and bigger and brighter and brighter. At the end of the week, come next Tuesday, we'll be a little past the quarter moon phase. So that big wheel of cheese in the sky is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And holy fucking shit, that's a lot of queso. That's a lot of fromage. And Damn, who knew Mark was trilingual? How else do you guys say cheese? Does anybody know any other languages? Can you teach me something new? How do you say cheese in like Arabic or like Chinese? Because I sure need to know. But the moon kicks off in Virgo. Let me tell you about the waxing moon, guys. It's just forward momentum. It's about taking those intentions and goals and really putting them into practice and action, definitive, inspired action. Like if we chop down those goals into bite-sized pieces, what do we need to do? This is Leo, intentionality, being direct and not procrastinating, really jumping right after this shit and getting after it, gang. That's the best thing I could say. So let's go day by day just for a second so everybody can see how the moon moves this week, and then we can get into the other planets, and this will give us better context for the week. Where the moon is going to end up is Sagittarius next Tuesday, but today we got a Virgo moon day, and that just means it's time to get down to business and put the work in and organize. Tomorrow on Wednesday is also going to be Virgo moon, damn near all of the day. It's also of note that the moon on Wednesday will be making some pretty strong aspects to Saturn and Neptune. So for want of not being verbose or talking too much or just overloading you guys with minutia, I will just say that the moon in Virgo today is about getting organized and putting your plans into action and simplifying things. And when it comes to Wednesday tomorrow, this will play out the same way, but probably on a more existential level too. So we want to maintain a steadfast pace and pursue our goals, but also just understand that there's a more universal lens to look at life through. And this can even help us understand our long-term vision and goals as well, not just the short term. So the day after, which is Thursday, we got the moon going into Libra, which is beautiful. Mama's home. That's my moon sign. So that's why I say that shit. Like it feels good to have the Libra moon. So Libra moon is about having fun, decorating, surrounding yourself with beauty, connecting with good people, having a good ass time, man, finding peace. And I wish you all profound peace and equanimity with yourself and the world. We can't be at peace with the world if we're at war with ourselves, gang. And that's really real. So one thing that's kind of overlooked with astrology is that, of course, our sun is our character and how we drive forward, but the moon, more specifically, will show in our charts how we see ourselves and how we relate to our spirit and our energy innately. So, moon equals self image, gang. And that's why I'm telling you right off the rip through this transit Thursday and Friday, love yourself and recognize the perfection of you, even with your flaws and idiosyncrasies and neurosis and bullshit, man. You are a person, and that makes you innately unique, and that makes you special, adding significance to all of life. So, you know, recognize the beauty of your life this weekend, gang. We'll also have the moon going through Libra most of Saturday, and it should really, let's go hour by hour. Yeah, Saturday evening, we'll see the moon move into Scorpio. So that's going to bring things a little bit more serious. The moon is in its detriment there. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, these are going to be really good days for you to work your magic and really seek inner transformation. And I mean that literally with the magic, witchcraft, sorcery, moving energy around, really connecting with your soul in either religious, spiritual, or secular ways, gang. And on a more secular note, the moon in Scorpio could literally be about just your personal transformation or, strength training or conditioning. That's going to be when we have our quarter moon on Monday. You see, moon square the sun. So this time, Monday, this is a good time for us to reassess our plans and goals. And, when the quarter moon hits, we look at the intentions we set on the new moon and ask ourselves, does anything need to be changed or adapted? Does anything need to be really worked on? Because if so, we have the power to do that. And what I'm also noticing is that, come Monday after that quarter moon and then leading into Tuesday, we will have that moon opposing Uranus and then heading into moon in Sagittarius. So I just feel like where this week ends up, we're going to really be seeking freedom in so many different ways in our lives. And depending on what freedom means to you and how you relate to your goals, you may feel way more inspired and charged up and time to take things to new heights, or you might just be saying fuck it and letting some things, let bygones be bygones, maybe, clearing out space this week as well. So, either way that goes, your life is yours. You are destined to live the life that you're meant to live. And I don't mean to sound vague or just like just to yap for no fucking reason, but just know there's a higher order and plan to all this shit. So let's take it from the top and work on the other planets right now. So first thing you got to know about these planets, because the sun and moon technically aren't planets if you really think about it. The first planet is Mercury, and Mercury is in Virgo, retrograde as well. And this is we got some mixed feelings about this, man, because I'd say by and large, man, people kind of recognize retrogrades as difficult. Me personally, I don't subscribe to that, but I would just say that, Mercury is home in Virgo. So, no matter how you see it, there's some dignity to this placement. Let's talk about it. Mercury really talks about how we talk, how meta, fam. It's communication, it's thinking, thoughts, travel, interaction with the world. And Virgo is the most specific and analytical sign of the zodiac. It's all about procedures and processes and efficiency, gang. And that's why Mercury loves this shit, gang. Mercury has two homes, and that's Gemini and Virgo. And with the Gemini, Mars, and Jupiter, and the Virgo stellium, guys, Mercury is like the highlight of the week for real. Just know that everything is mind, and mindset is everything. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're generally gonna be correct in that assessment and appraisal of life in your situation. And have you noticed that on that same spectrum of thought, when you don't feel capable of something, you won't reach for it. And by having limiting ideas or beliefs, man, a lot of times we will neglect to accept the things that are well within our reach. And that's pretty unfortunate, man. So the first message I get from this placement is that, it's quite likely that you have far more potential, power, and reach than you realize. So consider that for a second. I love Mercury Virgo, man. And these people who have this in their chart, they're very special and their minds are gifted. And we need people like this to really make sense out of the world and help us look out for things that we don't notice. So Mercury Virgo really places an emphasis on exactness and specificity and simplification and procedural, systematic ways of integrating our plans and approaching life, gang. If it doesn't make sense, fuck it. We're not spending any time on it for real. So Mercury Virgo is one of the best planning energies. It's the best for organizing, best for simplifying, getting your mind and your life right, fam. With this as well as the retrograde, I can't stress enough the value of cleaning, organizing, and even minimizing. Like going through your stuff and saying, what do I need? What does this serve me? Like this thing helps me train my wrists. I'm gonna keep it. You know, this piece of paper, this was a list. I already crossed it off. So fucking throw that in the trash, man. Things like that. This shoebox full of old ass shoes that I probably outgrew and I don't want to wear. Maybe we can donate these shoes to someone who they will fit. This iPhone box that I have from 3 upgrades ago that I was holding on in case I needed to get a repair or refurbish my iPhone, and I don't even have the iPhone. Maybe I can get rid of that fucking box. You feel me? That's how this energy is working out right now. But let me remind you guys, Mercury is also communication, and technology is built out of communication, right? So what that'll say is Mercury governs everything electric, like your phone that you're watching this on, or the computer, or the internet, or your car, or the trains, the buses. Even the motor nerves in your body are mercurial. How you interact with life and how your impulses are sent and received and information is exchanged. So, when Mercury goes retrograde, this is a pretty common phenomenon. This happens 3 times a year, gang. And that's just going to say that visually, if we were to look at Mercury, it looks like it's moving backwards in the sky. Like we're right here in the center of the chart. Check me out. I'm going to use the arrows for the visual. So all the planets are moving around this chart like a clock, like the hands on a clock. They all do. They all orbit around the sun, but because we're all at different lengths in the orbit, from Earth's perspective, Mercury looks like it's going backwards as opposed to the correct direction. So Is it really going backwards? No, but that's an optical illusion just based on the perspectives. And what that's really going to mean is that our access to Mercury's energy will be slowed down because from our visual perspective, it's not giving us any more forward movement. And as a result of that, the past movements and energies will have time to catch up with us. And, one of the most common things you may have already heard about is that, you should not text your ex whenever this shit happens because, generally this is just going to result as a process of just kind of thinking about the past and maybe looking at what was comfortable and familiar as more appealing at this point. And generally speaking, when people get back together during a Mercury retrograde, when that shit goes direct, people realize, hey, nothing changed and they didn't really think that shit out. So, beyond relationships, this also makes us reminisce a little bit, Mercury going retrograde, thinking about the past. But also, this could just say that there could be a buildup of mercurial energy. This can give us a lot more to think about with Mercury in its sign as well. And it would be wise to slow down in manners of thought and speech and travel as well. And give yourself a little more time to get to your commute so you're not rushing around, especially with Mars and Gemini. I'm going to say that shit twice, guys. Leave early when you have to go to things so that you aren't stuck in traffic or rushing and being reckless and endangering yourself or other people, guys. Drive defensively and keep your wits about you, eyes on the road, and, you know, pay attention when you're walking too, straight up, guys, because like motor skills and functions like that, they could be a little less calibrated. So you want to make sure that you're on point, gang. You don't want to be running into people or bumping into shit or spilling your drink or whatever, or just doing reckless, dumb shit because you weren't locked in or focused, okay? And this is your intermittent reminder to meditate your dick off for real, just for 10 minutes a day, maybe 20 or 5 at the very least. Set a timer and just do nothing and breathe and focus on stillness and breathing for a second. And the more you pay attention to you and clarity, the more clarity, clairvoyance you'll have in your day to day. Okay. It's worth it. It's a high leverage activity, but the hyper industrialist programming we have says we have to produce, produce, produce. But, you know, I think the thing is we just haven't commoditized mental space yet at this point. So a lot of us don't really see the value in producing more of that, but some of us do. So here I am advocating for that shit as well. So meditate, enjoy your life, breathe, find stillness, decompress. Okay. Venus, on the other hand, let me tell you guys, like, while this is great for Mercury, this shit sucks for Venus. And there's no, in my opinion, good or bad placements in astrology. Everything serves a purpose. But, Venus, on the other hand, governs our values and what we like and dislike, in addition to how we relate to ourselves and anybody else. And with Virgo being, again, the most specific and analytical and critical sign, this just says that, standards are raising above all else across the board. So the most beautiful thing about Virgo Venus is that, there's a love of growth right now. And if you are a growth oriented person, this is going to be the best time of your life. But if you're the type of person that doesn't really like change so much, this shit's going to whoop your ass. I'm going to just keep it 100, keep it a buck with you, man. And just understand that, progress is the meaning of life. So you have to give yourself permission to change. Let me zoom out a little bit. I love to go point by point, but look how much mutable energy is in the chart, guys. Forget the ascendant. That's, relative and time bound. But look at all these planets in mutable signs: Pisces, Gemini, Virgo. You got to stay flexible this week, gang. You can't be too rigid. You can't be too set, too fixed, too stubborn, even though the Leo energy might make you want to be that way right now. Nah, gang, you got to give yourself permission and grace and ease to change, okay? Embrace the change, love the change. Venus says a lot about relationships once again. So with this being Virgo, I really feel like there's going to be a need and a tendency to focus on striving and growing within partnership. And that's beautiful, gang. So you will see collaboration kind of coming as a key, or, you know, the exact opposite. You know how polarity goes in this life, man. So Virgo Venus just means less leniency towards bullshit or, mistakes or inconsistency or things that don't serve. And again, I'm not trying to skew this with judgment or lean it towards anything positive or negative, because what I've been learning more and more in my life is that, there's so many people in this world, billions of them, that, the types of relationships will be very varied. Not every relationship is supposed to be the same, nor could it be. So, on one note, this archetype kind of shows me that some relationships are going to be about, mutual trust and understanding and self-reliance. Like, I take care of me for you, you take care of you for me. We try not to burden each other. We try to look out for each other and only help. But also, the thing about Virgo is it's the sign of work. So I do see that for some people, they may kind of find these relationships where the person they're with is a fixer upper, or they take on a project within their partnership, and the work that one person needs to do kind of becomes another person's responsibility, and that's codependence. And codependence has many values that are unrecognized by a lot of people. I think by and large, the virtue of independence is quite recognized with other people, but across the board. But it's something to be said that, codependency on the side of the codependent really has obvious benefits, meaning I don't have to take care of my needs because you're doing it for me. But then also for the person who's providing, or, being in what you could call the superior position, they also get the added benefit of feeling needed and wanted and serving somebody. So, Venus is about love more than anything else, guys. How we love ourselves, how we love each other. And there's something to be said about raising our standards, or, appreciating ourselves and accepting ourselves. We can look at growth, but it's really important to do that through love and, not hatred or fear. And sometimes, these fixer upper relationships, or the tolerance of codependency, is really a reflection of one's low self-worth or a lack of standards and boundaries within their own life, man. And then having a relationship that bleeds someone dry or is, toxic or dependent can kind of mirror back to this person the fact that they don't value themselves for real. And that's rough and hard and difficult to deal with. But it is really the mirroring process of the universe confronting us through other people. So it's beautiful that no matter what, any person you interact with comes with a message and some teaching for you to understand when you really try to see yourself as everybody. So what I like about Virgo is it's all about experimentation and learning, and this is what's going on with our love. So we may need variety and different things to do and practice and play out. We might even take on challenges in our relationships and set new relationship goals with this one here. So that's beautiful. That's just beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. Oh my goodness. Virgo Venus, it's the best, isn't it? We love it. Oh my goodness, it turned me British and it's so fucked. I can't stop talking like this. Oh, damn. Oh no, gang, help. Help. Fuck this. Okay. All right. So at the end of the week, we'll talk about this more next week, guys, but I just want to foreshadow, Venus is gonna go square Mars, and we got some sexy times ahead of us. So get excited, gang. Life is good. Life is great. I hope y'all can relate. Put a smile on your face. What else we got? We got Mars and Gemini, gang. So Mars governs our power, our energy, our direction in life, and Gemini is all over the fucking place. So have no fear if you can't see clear and you're like, holy fuck, my head hurts, or like I don't know where I'm going. Mercury in Mercury ruling over Mars, Mercury ruling over Gemini, and Jupiter, I should say. My whole I want to scream right now. I can't even get the words out, bro. It's fucked up. It's like moving from thought to thought and idea and curiosity and landing on none of it sometimes, man. This is a big ass wind tunnel, and variety is the spice of life. So by having a multitude of different directions that you can go into, man, you can really zest up your experience and avoid getting bored or falling into routine, commonplace activities, man. Like, for example, guys, I've got, some interest. I got a handful, I got a bag full of tricks, and I love astrology, obviously. So that's great, but there reaches a point when, like, you focus on this shit for like 6 hours a day plus, and you're just like, man, I'm so tired of this shit. So then I start reading about the stock market and learning about financial instruments and stuff. And it's like I move from this chart and gets me bored. So I move to the S&P chart and I'm like, okay, boom, that's better. But then that shit starts to bore me. And I'm like, well, how about I work on my fitness or whatever? Or how about I pick up this book or, you know, God forbid I catch a Pokemon or some shit like that. And yeah, God does forbid that shit. No, I'm playing. Uh, Imagine though, bro, if you wanted to go to heaven and God said no, and he was like, why? And then he showed you your Game Boy and he was like, witchcraft, bitch, get down there. Oh, that would suck. Man, imagine if God allowed there to be Pokemon and just punished you for having fun. That'd be fucked up. Said, bitch, you read Harry Potter. I'm not letting you in these gates. Hell no. That's crazy. All right. I'm gonna be stretching as I'm doing this too. So Jupiter, am I making any sense right now? Holy fuck, dude. There was the point, and I don't know if I missed it or not, but Mars and Gemini just says get your mind right, embrace the variety, the volatility. Change is inevitable, stay flexible and fluid. Jupiter, on the other hand, gang, as opposed to Mars being more about passion and intention and desire, Jupiter really governs philosophy and worldview and how we get meaning and, connect to the cosmos. And this is all going to be through Mercury, the ruler of Gemini. So through your rational mind. So on this is kind of like bro, it honestly feels like when you like stall a car or like the gears be grinding together because Mercury in its sign in Virgo wants to be very focused and deep and specific once again. But you got Jupiter on the other hand, which wants our mind to expand and be wide and far reaching and vast. And this just means that there's no shortage of ideas, no shortage of things to think about. As a baseline energy, I think a lot of us kind of feel this restlessness or even an excitement at best. And this just gives us plenty of stimulation to get moving and going. But if we don't have any interests that really call to us or give us a form of excitement or fulfillment, yeah, man, this shit's just gonna get kind of heavy in the head and maybe overwhelming or overstimulating. So what we're gonna want to do is touch grass and drink some water and breathe as deep as you can. Like, let me deep breathe with you guys. Like exaggerate that all the way out. Slow inhale in, maybe two inhales, maybe three. Ooh, feels so good to oxygenate the brain. It gives you better perspective when you do that. The lungs, we have conscious control over that. And that's something to think about. What other vital organ do you have conscious control over besides the lungs? This dick. No, I'm playing. But you got Saturn in Pisces, man. So it's the time to build your dreams, bruh. And what that means is like Pixar or DreamWorks or whatever, like if you have an imagination, the things that exist within it can become physical and everybody can watch it and call that shit Shrek. You feel me? And if you have faith, if you truly believe, anything is possible, man. And I'm not talking about what am I talking about? Let me just stop there. I mean, we don't need double negatives. I'm gonna just stand on that shit. I'll reincarnate on that hill. Give a fuck if you don't believe me. Because I believe me. And I see that my mind's eye is God's petition to me to create. So if you have dreams, aspirations, certain visions or vibes that really call out to you, man, trust and rest assured that the universe is giving you signs and signals for a better life. The problem, and there is no problem here. So I'm like, I cut that sentence immediately as soon as I started it, guys. The thing that you need to note about Saturn is that this gives us an opportunity to learn something and to master something. And while Jupiter expands and gives us the picture, Saturn is going to contract and give us the frame. You hear me? And this is going to lead us into one of the bigger deals of the week, guys. I'm so fucking jazzed about this, guys, because I know this is a weekly astrology forecast, but I'm about to put you guys on game for the rest of the year and get excited because your boy came with the sauce today. But Saturn, it has a limiting and delaying effect. And sometimes we have to work a little harder in this area to get what's coming for us, okay? And Pisces is dreams. So that's why I started the convo off saying that, you can manifest anything if you really believe and put the fucking work in, guys. It may not be immediate, it might not be instantaneous, but, when you take inspired action, guess what? The whole fucking universe conspires with you. Straight up. And that's the secret to life in general, is that when you take that first step, the universe can step with you. But until you do that, you really haven't initiated or signaled to the universe anything besides hesitation or the present conditions and parameters. So, you know, give yourself permission to change. Or if you are happy and content where you are, that's beautiful as well. And I wish everybody contentness, if that is a word. I wish that you will be happy and content in this very moment and excited and enthused for the present and the blessings yet to come. And thankful for the ones in the past, gang. Because your past is your most priceless possession. That holds your emotional memory and your intellectual property. So that in itself is something to think about. I think a lot of us kind of feel enslaved to our past. And I've felt this for the last couple years with Saturn going through Pisces in the collective, especially in personal readings. But the energy of existence and thinking and feeling and experiencing, this is a heavy cross to bear, y'all. And because we're social creatures, but also living an independent, personal, dualistic experience, we're very driven to separate and connect at the same time. And this in itself is a paradox. You feel me? And it kind of seems that we can only meet people as far as we met ourselves. So the more that we dive into us, the more we can even inadvertently feel disconnected with others as we show our true authentic self that we've been realizing through experience. So my point is this, guys, everything is divine. Nothing is mundane because everything's magical. The universe exists always, everywhere. And that's the whole concept of universe. I'm not here to kick like religion or even tell y'all what to believe, but I'm just here to make you aware that you do believe. And those belief systems that you hold, they create paradigms and filter your experiences. So you better be careful what you believe because you start to experience it in some way, shape, or form. So it's important to question your beliefs and put them to the test and ask, man, have I even experienced this shit? Or is this just something somebody told me because they never questioned something either? Or maybe that's what they were told. You guys ever heard that story about the woman who bakes a ham and she cuts off the ends of the ham and she's teaching her daughter how to cook the ham? And she's like, you know, first thing you're going to do is cut off the ends of the ham and then you're going to put it in the pan. And then she's like, what the heck? Why? And she's like, well, I don't know. My mom did it that way. And then, little girl asks her grandma, hey, grandma, why do we cut the ends of the ham off? Can't we just eat them? And she's like, well, my mom did it that way. So that's how I do it. And then she's like, well, damn, great grandma. She's like in the nursing home, like on the ventilator, like barely able to communicate. She's on Stephen Hawking mode or some shit. And she's like, great grandma, why do we cut the ends of the ham off? And then she's like, and she's typing with her like face muscle or whatever. And she's like, I only had a 6x6 pan. Ham was too big. And then it's like, fuck. So you're telling me for generations we've been wasting half the fucking ham just because y'all didn't have big enough pans? Are you shitting me? And that's a metaphor for organized religion, y'all, straight up. The collective conscious is rising, so more and more people are going to really supersede the need for other individuals to regulate and systematize divinity. It's cool to want to talk about cosmology and physics and spirituality and metaphysics and also the higher implications on what that means for moral virtue and choices. But the question is, man, does God give a damn and does your higher self give a damn? I don't really know the answer quite literally, but I will just say that to each their own. What I get from that is if the universe is universal, everything is all one. But because we descend in the world of duality, I really don't think the universe would benefit from making us all live the exact same way, nor could it. It'd be impossible for us to all abide by the same standards and regulations and rules. So this Saturn Pisces conversation took us kind of far out, man. But I just want to summarize and maybe reel it back in and saying that it's important to be aware of the way that you connect to divinity and ask yourself, are you connecting through love or fear, trust or fear? Because it really can't be both, gang. And the answer to that question if it is the latter, really predicates an assumption that life is bad or that you are bad or the universe is a malevolent force. And Saturn is work. So this has, since it started, gang, Saturn Pisces has suggested to me that the work itself is having faith in life, gang. So if we don't do that, we're not going to believe in ourselves or the potentials that life could hold. And we're going to find ourselves way more led by duty than desire. Is that really a life that you want to live? That's my question. So let me tell you about the year ahead, guys. Even though this is your weekly podcast, what you'll notice is that Jupiter is making a square with Saturn right now. And this is actually a reflection of a pretty big cycle, the Jupiter-Saturn cycle. Any two planetary pairs will have their own cycle, just like the sun and the moon, where they connect in the sky, making their conjunction point of their new phase. And then they start moving around where the faster moving planet is kind of going to be like the second hand. And then the slower moving planet will be like the minute hand or the hour hand on the clock. And eventually we'll hit like, a quarter till, or we'll hit noon, or, etc. So let me tell you guys, Jupiter takes 12 years to orbit the whole wheel. 12 years. Saturn, on the other hand, let me see if I can like type this out. That'd be so cool. Yeah, 12 years. Saturn takes 28-ish years. Where's that like ish sign? I'm just going to write ish years. Boom. Dang, and I can't even like move them around. That's a bummer. Well, you get the idea, guys. So basically, what that's going to say is that Saturn and Jupiter are actually going to link up every 20 years if you do the math. And if you look at the ephemeris, it's kind of crazy that Jupiter and Saturn will basically line up on even number years and roll in the decade. So the last conjunction we had with Jupiter and Saturn was in 2020 in the sign of Aquarius, right? And then we usually have our oppositions, in the tens, like the 10, the 30, the 50, the 70. So we'll have our conjunctions of Jupiter, and Saturn on the 20, the 40, the 60, the 80. And, there's sometimes a little variance. We might have a little gap like into 1 year ahead or behind, but that's something to think about. And let's talk about it once again, guys. I know there's a million ways to look at this shit, but if Jupiter's the picture and Saturn's the frame, this is going to obviously say that we'll make new perspective. So let me be clear. The Jupiter-Saturn square means that we're kind of having a retest and a restructure and organization of the energies that this conjunction brought in, the cycle that started. So the key words is governing structures, guys. These are going to be needed to be revised. And this could talk a lot about policy and change. And I think it's no coincidence that, as we have this square playing out starting this week and through the retrogrades of Saturn and Jupiter, we're actually going to have this square continuing for the rest of the year and even part of 2025. So in interest of switching governing structures, I think it's no coincidence that this is an election year as well. Kind of a synchronicity there too, man. So our true government in America will change. But beyond this, guys, the existential conversation we have with Saturn will also be a key theme. Like, what are my beliefs? What are my paradigms? How do I use my administrative abilities in this life? How do I give? How do I socialize? And, is that serving? Am I learning in that regard? What are the lessons here? You know? And the word I like for this one is consolidation, because governing structures, that's a lot to think about. And that seed, you can't unhear it. It'll germinate in your mind. But one of these planets, Jupiter, works on expansion and the other one works on contraction. So when the square connects, it brings together two of the planets in a pretty extreme way, okay? So this could say that over the next year or so, gang, expansion will be limited, but limitation will be expanded. What the hell does that mean, Mark? What the fuck are you talking about, bro? So consolidation, gang, this could show us that certain limitations or boundaries need to be revised, or you may find growth coming quite necessary and expediently as a result of this shit as well. This could be an increase in responsibilities or a relinquishing of responsibilities. With Saturn and Jupiter, it's also worthy to note that these two are visible by the eye, but they're a little bit more farther out. So when it comes to like Mars and Venus, the ones right next to Earth, or Mercury being right next to the sun, you'll be able to connect with these very personal and independently. And truly, you can do that with Jupiter and Saturn, but this will also kind of reflect a more social consciousness in the world as well, dealing with our group and our consensus, our community, our reality. Okay. So that's pretty cool, gang. So I just really feel like stabilized growth is going to be the key for this year. And it's just important to really take time to refocus on priorities so you don't really meet life with too much fear or anxiety and can really stay focused and consolidate your efforts towards what really matters, gang. Because this also says that, there's a feeling of obligation surrounding growth too. And that nervousness that we have, that fear can really push us away from the luck that we have. So that's something to watch out for as well, gang, because when you get too nervous or too anxious, you start sending the emotional signal to the universe that you want to experience strife. And I don't know if that's, I mean, you could have like a dignified Eris in your chart, but I say more often than not, humans aren't trying to experience strife. But a lot of people don't know about their Eris. So, like, a lot of people unconsciously do create that shit. So that's something to think about as well, gang. And oh man, has this gotten deep enough for you guys? Are you liking this video? Because I know that these are my ideas, so I'm fucking with them. But are you fucking with them? Are you seeing the vision? If you do, can I get a fire emoji, or can you say like yippee, yay, consolidation, or some shit like that? I don't know. You can say whatever you want, but I just like to know that y'all feel me. Not too much else to say this week besides the North Node is in Aries, and it's ruled by Mars. So focus on your path and go after everything that's divinely destined and inspired for you, everything you feel called to investigate as part of your path. Profound peace is coming for all of us, gang. We got the Libra Lilith applying to the South Node. So I think there is something to be said about us uncovering our hidden emotions when it regards relationships or just how we find balance within our lives. And, see yourself as beautiful, and truly special. And I don't mean to throw paradox your way, so I hope that this actually ends up reconciling paradox for somebody. But while seeing yourself as perfect actually makes it almost impossible to grow, because if you're perfect, why would you need to change? Um, just recognize the inherent perfection and beauty in the imperfections and flaws and potential that you have as well, fam. And ultimately, they say only God can judge you. That's not necessarily true, but I just would go as far as to say that, your judgment in this life, because life is a very personal act of creation and expression, your judgment matters way more than other people's. When Pluto's in Aquarius, guys, which it will be for about 20 years, huge shifts are going to happen in the collective conscious, and we will see a lot of interesting changes happening due to technology and a robot revolution. And the fucking AIs are taking over, man. And it's about to be the Matrix, or like, what do you call it? Like Wall-E or Idiocracy or some shit. Like, kind of a mixture of all three of those movies, gang. So be smart. Recognize that when we come together, we can get more done unified than divided. Unified we rise, divided we fall. So by seeking connection with yourself, man, you actually uplift the human spirit and help all of us ascend. So that's the beauty of life, is that, self-indulgence, unbridled hedonism, and selfishness, this often can be kind of scary or sinister for some. But if you really think about it, you know, an example is the best thing you can give others. So if you can really find that middle way with serving yourself while providing an example or some meaningful form of service to the world, or, even just sharing your example, gang, that's going to be great for the human spirit and great for all of life. So I don't really have too much else to say. I love to talk. I got a Virgo rising Leo Mercury type of shit, dude. Third house Pluto energy. So I could words y'all to death all day, but let's not do that. This is short and sweet, simple to the point, Fire Family. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please consider leaving a like. And I do want to let you guys know my books are open again for natal chart interpretation. So if you do want to have an in-depth look at your astrology from the sun to the ascendant, all the way past Pluto to the nodes and Chiron and Lilith and all your angles and planets and houses and all that shit, Get at me, man. The link is going to be in the description. I'm offering 90-minute to 2-hour consultations. It ends up somewhere in that ballpark, pre-recorded videos where all you got to do is send me your stats, your birthday and time and location, and that's all I need from you. And I'll be able to send you that video in less than 2 weeks' time, okay? And I'm on a special right now, gang, so you can get that for 111, but you, Fire Fam, could grab it for 88 if you wanted to use code FIRE. But that's up to you. Your chart won't go anywhere. It's a lifelong study. Take your time with it, but I will go somewhere. So I might not always have time to read your chart or have spots available. So if you do feel called, you feel that excitement inside of yourself, that thirst for knowledge and self-awareness, that lust for more life and experience, this is your sign to hit that link in the description and grab a spot and grab a natal chart reading from your boy. And just understand the expanded mind cannot be shrunk. So with that, I leave you guys my peace, blessings, raw XD. May you be blessed. May you manifest all you desire in your lifetime, Fire family. I love you. And more importantly, you love you. So take care, be well, and I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.